I got a unique situation here with the motorcycle. It's a KTM 65 2023. I'm going to go through the whole litany of stuff that's been done to this bike because it might help somebody else out that has to go down this path. We call it, let me turn the camera around here, going down the KTM 65 SX Rabbit Hole. And the reason I say rabbit hole is that everything about this bike that we've kind of touched has led to a different problem. And I'll go a little over the history now in case you have these same kind of situations. But what I really want to talk about is the clutch and what we had to do to get the clutch operating. Some of you motocross dads out there will need to listen up on this because it is a fix that isn't well known and maybe something you need someday with your own kids. So anyway, a little bit about the history of this bike. This bike came in right around November. The owner had bought it from someone else, brought it in for us. It was running bad. It wasn't running real well, but he wanted us to get it going, put the plastic on it, white plastic, all that stuff, get it graphicked out and stuff like that, get the engine running like we're supposed to. And so we did that. Well, the thing was running rough and the carburetor was leaking, so naturally the first thing we tackled was the carburetor and went into it and found there were all the wrong jets in there. There were big jets in there, just everything was wrong about it. Got all that straightened out with what the stock should have been, and fired it up, and it's running worse, really. So that led us down the path to the, let me put the bike up here for a second. So that led us down to the power valve, which on these bikes is a vacuum operated power valve. It's right here. So we checked that first, and lo and behold, there's two bolts that holds it on, one long, one short. The short was laying inside there. And when we move the arm, there's an arm that runs down in the engine down to the flapper valve or the guillotine type tool, or the flapper valve. It was loose. So the valve wasn't moving up and down anyway. So at that point, we took we couldn't get it reconnected. So what we did was I'm talking about the guillotine valve. We couldn't get it reconnected, so we pulled the cylinder off and inspected the valve, and sure enough, it was broken in half. And this is a common problem with these bikes. So if this happens to you, by all means, do what we did. We bought a new valve from a company called Nilo, and that solved that problem. But in the meantime, trying to get that valve out of the cylinder, we couldn't do it. It was so beat up and so bad that if we tried to do anything, we would have ruined the cylinder. So at that point, we just opted to get another cylinder, went ahead and got a fresh piston, got all the power valve stuff straightened out, and got the bike ran good, okay? Everything was right. Bike's running good. Guess what? The clutch wasn't working. What the clutch was doing, well, I'm letting this thing down now. What the clutch was doing was, it would come back, but it wasn't really engaging, and oops, I don't want to push that because I got the clutch cover off. Anyway, it wouldn't engage, real short throw, it was notchy feeling, stuff like that. Well, the first thing you do then, of course, is you go over, you replace the, hang on, I'm getting it. You inspect the basket. This is the basket, the old basket. You can see it's notched up really, really a lot. So that causes the clutch plates to hang up and stick and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so we get another clutch basket, and while we're at it, I'd mic the steels and the fibers friction plates, and the steel ones, which I have one in my hand, they were out of spec. They were too thin. These actually were kind of in spec. I think what happened was, I think the previous owner had replaced these. But you can see, I don't know if you can see it in this thing, but this thing's kind of turning oval shape, or is it beating itself against the basket. But anyway, the other thing that we found though was that these plates were worn, or warped, I should say. You can see it in this, it's warped. It's warped bad, as a matter of fact. So all that, we replaced all that thinking, hey, we solved the problem. Replaced all that stuff. Bled the clutch umpteen times. You know, you have to bleed these things from the bottom up, and we did it both ways, bottom up, bottom down, bottom down, blah. We did it. Tried to get all the air out of it, which we got all the air out of it, but the clutch still wouldn't work. Came to find out later on that these, they've had a problem. This is a brake tech system. They've had a problem with these master cylinders. Now this was, I think, on the older bikes, more so than the newer ones, but we ended up deciding that the master cylinder that was on there was defective, and there it is right there. Because no matter what we did, we couldn't get it to work right. So I got a new master cylinder in, and put it on, and it's still the same problem. So at that point, I took one of my grandson's 85. I took that off. You can see there's nothing there. Okay, we took it off. We knew it was working, and we put it on. And when we did that, we started getting pressure and stuff, and it started working properly. There's another fix for this, but it's way more convoluted, and I'm not sure how well it works. By that is to go get an older Brembo master cylinder. You have to get everything all the way down to the slave, but get everything, and hopefully that would solve the problem too. Apparently these things weren't machined that well, or something like that, or some of them were not. Whatever it was, there was a problem with them. And this one had the problem, because when I put my grandson's master cylinder on here, it started working, but it still didn't work properly. So at that point, we knew we were getting pressure and stuff like that. And we'll go over to this side. Now, this is the master. Now, in the meantime, I replaced the piston assembly in the old master cylinder up there. I also replaced the slave piston cylinder on this end of it. Here's the old one. It didn't look bad when I got it out of there. But anyway, we went ahead and replaced that too, because we just could not get the thing to work like it should. Well, what ultimately happened is that it just would not, we got the system working, but it just would not. What would happen would the lever would come all the way back to the handlebar. The lever would come all the way back to the handlebar, and it would, but it would not disengage. And no matter what we did, bleeding it up, bleeding it down, whatever we did not solve that problem. Now this has got the new master basket in it, new fibers and new steel plates in it, all that stuff. And in thinking about it a little bit, I decided that what I was going to do was to put a, I don't know where where it is now. Oh, here it is. Anyway, this goes right here, okay? And what happens is, it's going to try and fall out, but what happens is, as you squeeze the lever, of course, it pushes on the slave cylinder, which pushes on this thing, which in turn pushes this pressure plate in against the springs and releases the plates and lets them rotate. Well, it just wasn't pushing in far enough. So what I did was, I put, you can barely see it, it's very thin, but I found a washer that was about, I think it's 2.5 millimeters thick, and it just happened to be the right diameter to go around this, and the right OD, because at first when I was trying to do this, I had a washer that was up over the bolts that hold the pressure plate in. And so I found this one that's just the right size, blah, blah, blah. So that's on there, that's over there now. Now everything's working like it should. And I'm gonna button this thing back up, but I wanted to call your attention to this because now that I've gotten into this a little bit, I found out this is a fix when you've got worn plates, and some of these little 65s get ragged out, and this was one of them. They get ragged out to the point that you've got to shim them to get them operating back where they are. So anyway, I'm going to put this on pause now. I'm going to button everything back up, and then we're going to start it up and make sure we actually have fixed this problem. The other thing I'm going to talk about at some point, and you dads listen up to this, this kid that's riding this bike, he's got real small hands. I'm going to try to figure out a fix for the long throw I have on the lever so that there's a lot less movement in it. But anyway, that's where we are, guys. So bear with me a little bit, and I'll get back to you in a little bit after we get this thing started up and buttoned up and started up. Okay, guys, I'm back. I've got Tommy here. He's going to start this thing because I don't kickstart anything anymore. My damn right knee is just as loose as hell, and it just flops around when I try to kick something. So we're gonna try to start it now. And all right, Tommy, just hop on there and let's get it started. And after he starts it, I want to check the free play or the play in it too. It's in gear, isn't it? Starts easy. All right, he's going to sneak it up in second gear. Make sure. That's a good sign, boys, because before, and you can notice when he's pulling it out, it's about halfway before it starts grabbing. Before, you couldn't even do that. It would start grabbing right as you as you let it go out. I think we solved it. All right, cool. I want to clear up something I said earlier when I was putting that thing is called a pressure piece that I put the little shim on. I might have said 25 millimeters. It's 2.5 millimeters. It was about 2.5 millimeter shim. So just in case you get across this problem, you try everything and it still doesn't engage like it should, this is what you want to do, okay? Shim that little pressure piece and then keep on trucking. One more thing I got to do is to move that shift lever down just a little bit, and it's too high up right now. And I want to just mention a couple other things we did. We did a lot of work to this bike. I redid the seals up here in the front forks. They were leaking like crazy. We put new springs in the front and the rear. I've forgotten whether I freshened up the shock or not. I probably did freshen up the shock too, because you're supposed to do that every year. But we did respring it for this kid's weight, and it should be rideable now for him. The only thing we didn't do, we put new chains and sprockets on it. The only thing we didn't do was put new rubber on it, but the rubber is in decent, really good shape. So the kid's just learning the bike, so we decided we'd just leave it like it was and go from there. Well, guys, thanks for watching, and if you got any questions, or hey, yeah, do the like and subscribe button and all that other BS they ask you to do. But anyway, come see us over at Bob's Cycle Barn, and if you got any suspension work, come bring it on.